Welcome back, my kindred, to Canada by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade live play podcast. Val refused Damon's offer to become a vampire and instead challenged him to single combat while Robin called Rufus Cross. Jack bled out. Robin tried to buy them time but was killed by a wayward knife. John too was stabbed, and Val was set upon by the other vampires. Before she lost consciousness, her attackers were gunned down in an instant, and Val looked up into the face of her saviour, Rufus Cross, before he apologized and sank his fangs into her. How will Val tolerate becoming the demon she has always feared? Find out now as we return to the world of darkness.
Val, you wake out of the darkness. The last thing you remember, fangs in your neck, the loss of your friends, the horrific deaths, Jack dying on the ground, Robin with his throat cut by a knife, hurled by a cruel and sadistic vampire, John staking Damon Corthal with a knife through his own eye before he expires, and you with this feeling of blades sinking in and out of your body, refusing the offers made by these demons, only to find yourself eaten by Boss Cross, the man that you trusted, who turned out to be yet another demon. And that seems to be the end of it all, until you find yourself waking up, your mouth full of blood. The salty, coppery taste that you normally would despise, now something so good.
Huh?
The sweetest wine you have ever tasted. Your skin, your nerves, they're all alive. They're all incredible. You feel strong. You feel vital. The sounds that you can hear, so much stronger than you had ever heard before. You can hear things in the woods. You can hear the silence in the house, of the field. You can hear the final ebb and flow of a last heartbeat. And the death rattle that you had only recently come to learn was the sound of human death. When you heard it from Robin, you now hear from the person you are hunched over, holding into your mouth your fangs, sunk into their neck, and you pull back and see you are holding the valet who brought you out to the cages, who brought you out to the brawl to it all. You are still in this clearing, only there is silence around you, and you can hear, just subtly, just faintly now, with a degree of specificity, with a degree of sensation that you've never felt before, looking up at the sky, hearing all this, you can hear blood pulsing through veins. Just 10 feet away.
People instantly look up from that, of the blood all over her hands, of this ruined neck of this valet. But it's like the instincts are still feeding into her of that heightened, I'm in the middle of combat, I'm in the middle of battle, hearing this sound of blood amongst the silence. She just looks up to it like, is this, who is this? What is happening?
And you look up and see Rufus Cross looking down at you. And this is the moment where you realize you aren't feeling pain. And as you glance down, all of your injuries are gone.
Okay.
Every knife wound is gone. The corpses of your friends are not present.
Okay.
They've clearly been brought somewhere else. You do not know. The bodies of your enemies, however, are still present. Rufus Cross is looking down at you. What do you do?
What the fuck happened?
Everything went to shit.
Yeah, it did, but why am I not dead?
Well, we could really dance around this for a while, but the truth is, you're a vampire now. Vampires are real. Wish I didn't have to tell you. You weren't supposed to know maybe never, but
maybe never. I fucking told you this would happen. Why'd you lie to me?
Okay, what do you mean you told me this would happen?
I told you that the moment you feel safe, the moment you have something, the demons come, and I was prepared, but they were supposed to kill me because that's what they do, but now I'm that.
I've been trying to explain to you for a long time that this world is not as black and white as you seem to think it is. What do you think this happened because what, you were ready or you weren't ready?
Because I let things slip, because you fucking told us not to come here, but you didn't say why.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that vampires were real yet. And I thought you'd listen when I told you all that this was the last fucking place you should ever come. Why are you here?
You said if we came here that we'd be kicked out, but we already fucking were because we lost the gym money and now it doesn't fucking matter, I guess.
Yeah, I came back because there was, a robbery?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started pinging my name. The system, that drew my attention, came back, didn't know where the fuck you were. I got a call from Robin, figured out that this brawl was going on, figured you might have been crazy enough and stupid enough to ignore what I'd said and come here, and now, shit.
Jack said that the prize money was good and we just didn't want to lose everything.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. They did.
So what? You're a vampire, they're a vampire. What? We're just keeping us around to eat us later.
No. If I'd wanted to eat you, I could have done that the moment I found you. None of you on this, and I'm going to be honest, you're all very capable for mortals, especially you, but nobody was going to be walking away from this if I hadn't interfered. If I wanted to eat you, I'd fucking eat you. That was not the deal.
Right. Fuck.
Living forever doesn't mean you don't get lonely. Living forever doesn't mean you don't need friends. Living forever doesn't mean you don't need allies. Doesn't mean any of that. Try to find decent people who may be on, not the perfect side of society and the laws and all those things, and look after them. Then if I need help, I get help too. Same way I help them.
Right. Sure. So what? This is what I do now. It's just the blood. It's.
Yeah, the blood's going to be a thing.
So what next? What the fuck do I do now?
It's entirely up to you. I'd be happy to show you the way to do all this. There's a whole vampire society. There are vampire rebels, criminals, insane psychopathic cultists. That's who you're seeing here. I don't do that. I hunt them. That's the job. I keep them out of this town, keep them out of Calgary, keep them out of this area, work for, the princess. There's a lot, is what I'm saying, in terms of political intrigue inside the vampire world, and there's a lot of vampire laws. You want to join that world? I'll walk you through it. You'll get taught by somebody who is more powerful there than I am in the mortal world currently. You want to, find your way on your own? I can give you a couple of years to do that.
Fuck. So there's different monsters, the ones who did this, and you?
There's a lot of different monsters. But did you feel safe with people out in the world? No. It's just scales of monsters. There's always somebody
monsters
bigger
to fight, you said.
Yeah.
Fuck. And Val's just sitting there wrestling with this. It's just like the overwhelming sensations of having been turned, but also it's like spinning her entire worldview, because it's like Rufus Cross is still just talking to her like he's a person, but from everything that she's learned up into this point in her life of like, these are monsters that kill people, and then also feeling like, I lost all of these friends. I was taught by Rick and Maria and my dad how to fight these things. Like a weird sensation of, I am now the thing that my people would want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
That is very disorienting.
Yes. And being this kind of monster currently feels really good.
Mm.
You feel stronger than you felt before. You feel faster than you felt before. You feel more lethal. And you also feel within you, there's a black sense of hunger,
mm-hmm.
of power, of predatory instinct that you are not used to before. Mm-hmm. Later, you will come to know this as the beast, now
right.
riding alongside Val inside this body. But that is also a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
You are feeling for the first time instinctively like an apex predator instead of prey. And
mm-hmm.
Val has spent a lot of her life feeling like prey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so without answering and just feeling these instincts, she's going to go over to the dead bodies and find who is the guy running this whole thing? Who is that guy who murdered everyone that she was fighting, that vampire?
Damon Corthal?
Damon Corthal. So she's going to go to the body of Damon Corthal, like look at it, like pick it up.
Great. You're looking at a body. The thing that is unsettling for you is it has decomposed and appears to have been rotting for nearly 20 years. You're not seeing a body that is as freshly made as you would imagine, knowing that the other bodies of the mortals that you kind of dealt with, the security, are all the same amount of rotting you expect. They're just people with knife wounds. They're just meat. This is a rotting corpse.
Mm-hmm. I was like a bit confused at that. It's like, this isn't what he fucking was.
No, but when a vampire dies, they rot as much as they would have when they became a vampire, when their body passed away. We're undead, Val. People might call us alive, but you can feel inside you. I mean, you want to hold your breath, you'll be amazed. You can do it forever. You don't need to breathe. You'll never sleep in the traditional sense again. You won't dream. Any traditional wounds that you'd receive from fists, knives, pipes, anything like that, guns, those are going to be the equivalent of sprains, scratches. You won't feel pain like you're supposed to.
Where are their bodies?
Where
John and Robin and Jack.
I put them in the house. I figured I would take the rest of these bodies. I only had so much time before I knew you'd wake back up. Make a pyre for them. Everybody here who died. Honor to them. House goes up, they go up. I got some extra gasoline here. All this fucking brawl for it, all bullshit burns up at the same time.
Fine. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. And he has 2 containers of gasoline. You spray it all over the cages, the corpses out here, the giant ring set up in the center. It takes time. You're not supernaturally fast. That's not one of your gifts. Not that you're even aware that that is a gift, but you saw a certain amount of blurring and speed from the other vampires who were present. You even saw some unnatural speed from Rufus. And it's a strange thing to be this ultra predator and still be doing these tremendously mundane things. Just splashing things around, and like if you're sloppy, you still splash yourself. You're not any more dexterous. But when you are looking to move something, you'll instinctively reach to move it, like to move a giant log or move something, and realizing it just fucking moves. Right. You're so much stronger than you were. Picking up a body, you can just throw it 20 feet.
It's crazy.
And it'll land into something else. Yeah. Like the level of strength you're dealing with here is incredible. And you can feel the lifeblood of this valet flowing through you. Do you find that as you're thinking about it, as you have this moment of calm here, this moment of pause in between, how does it hit you, the fact that you've killed so many people, then you killed demons, now you've eaten someone? This is a very swift 25, 30-minute progression for Val after decade or more of consciously avoiding killing. Like, what is hitting her as she's doing this task? Or is she just trying to do the task and not feel anything?
She's doing the task, and I think it is even the act of moving things and doing all of that. She's trying to wrestle with that fact of, like, she didn't want to hurt and kill people, and then it was this huge blur of she murdered a bunch of people and then watched her friends get murdered. So I think it's like it sinks her back in that place of being a little kid and seeing the dead bodies of Rick and Maria and the way that her dad talked about all that stuff, that it starts to feel quickly even more distant of like Rufus Cross doesn't seem bent out of shape about it. He's like, fuck, but he's not upset. And the blood felt so good that it's already starting to feel like, well, he said I was dead. I should have been dead. Trying to sort through what all of that means and trying to connect it to like the thoughts of who she was as a person. I think there's just such a big disconnect of just becoming a monster that you were running away from was never on the table. That was never an option or a thing or a thought in any way whatsoever. So wrestling the fact that like, I'm dead and I'm a demon. What does that mean? Yeah.
So you are thinking all of this, wrestling with all of those ideas as you spread this gasoline around, and you make your way back to the house and can see that it has been thoroughly gasolined as well. Doors are open, windows are open to allow air to flow through. Rufus knows a little bit about arson. He's getting fancy here. It's not his first rodeo, as he might say. Do you want to go in?
I want to see him.
All right. He takes you in through one side doorway where there has not been gasoline poured. He clearly thought this might have been a thing that you would want to do.
Yeah.
And at the center of this house, there is a massive kitchen. And within it, there is a large central table. It's like a prep kitchen, if you've seen those in any of the various mansions. There's the long table in the center, and your three friends have been laid out lovingly. There are pillows set up for them. They have, their gear still in place from the fight. They're there. And all the bodies of the various people from inside this house, the valets you had seen out front, the people moving cars, they've all been murdered. Everyone is dead, and their bodies have been stacked around this table on the floor as though they are propping up the three people who clearly are the only ones who matter to Rufus Cross in this room. This is what you see.
I was looking around at that and just, you did all this.
Yeah.
And that is, it's like that sickening disconnect of like, oh my God, 3 people in a van, like in the woods, never had a chance. If this one guy murdered all these people and moved all these bodies, it's like, well, but I also am like, I don't have to worry about that, I guess, because I am dead now. And stepping over in between or on top of these bodies to just go look over her dead friends and look at that and try to wrestle with the fact that, like, yeah, these are people that I cared about and they loved, and they are meat now. And what does that mean? And what does that mean now that I'm dead? Like, did I die with these people? What am I now? What does it all mean? But I think even just looking at the physical wounds and like tracing fingers over some of those spots that are not bleeding anymore.
Yeah, Jack's severed arm is next to his body. It's been set kind of not pressing against the wound, but to create the full silhouette of his body. But it's there. It's bloodless. Robin's neck cut to the bone, torn open. John with the blade is still in his eye socket, unremoved, but otherwise, shot in the shoulder, shot in the leg. He's got those bullet wounds. Robin is the one with the least injuries, the grisliest, but his body and his head still look exactly like Robin.
Yeah. I think she lingers for a moment over Jack because Jack has a bullet wound from her having shot him, and then moves down to look at Robin. And it's just that gruesome juxtaposition of like knowing what expressions this man makes and how vivacious he was. And then it's just like, it's just over. We'll never hear that again. We will never hear that sound. And then I think that's the moment where there's a little regret of like, we are so poor and just kind of going along to get along. Like there's no photos of us. There's no like memories of that time. There's no.
And even his face doesn't look like his face, because when you look at people who have died, there is a level of relaxation that is impossible to achieve in life.
Yeah.
So expressions are off. Eyes are more sunken. Cheeks don't look right. There's a reason why makeup is used to try to make people look like a living photo of themselves, because they don't. There is that chilling disconnect that you experienced when you were a kid of realizing like, this is me. These are not your friends. It's one that I felt in real life, and I imagine anyone may have who's gone to a funeral home where you look at somebody and you're like, oh, that ain't right.
Yeah.
Like, that's not them.
Yeah. And she'll turn back to Rufus Cross. Why they do all this just to find someone to do this to find someone to make a vampire. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, they're called the Sabbat. Most of them, it's a religion. They believe in vampire superiority. They believe that we should be animals. We should be killers. We should be above and different than humans. We should eventually take over the world in an orgy of blood and violence. Some of them, I don't know if they believe the religion, but they sure do believe the rest.
What about you, Mr. Cross?
Yeah, I'm kind of, shall we say, the opposite of that.
Do you believe in religion? You wear St. Raphael?
Yeah, I believe in St. Raphael. I believe in order. I believe in as much ethics as one can in a world that's as ugly and as mean as nature makes it. And I believe in justice. I believe in doing what you got to do. And I'm not trying to just walk you through fucking politics, but there's the Sabbat, and then there's Camarilla. Camarilla's got laws. Camarilla's got decency. Camarilla believes that, we can exist. We're clearly our own species, but we ain't got to break the world. We ain't got to fucking take over the world. Mortals got a right to live too. We got to stay hidden, and we got to follow the fucking rules. And I am, one might say, police chief, commissioner, sheriff is the term that we use here. I'm the one who makes sure those fucking laws don't get broken. I thought the Sabbath might be involved in these fucking brawls. That's why I said, stay the fuck away from them. I didn't know who'd do it. I was looking for them. Came here too fucking late. That's it. 3 of them that could kind of hide, disappearing in and out of town. I couldn't track where they were at. Couple more. They get greedy, they get bigger, I can track them down. They got to do. It's like any other fucking investigation. Sometimes when you don't have enough clues, you got to wait for the killer to strike again before you can catch him. And fuck me, it took down everybody I had with me.
What about you? Follow laws. You eat people?
Yeah, everybody fucking eats people. We're fucking vampires.
How the fuck does that work? You pick who to eat and who not?
Yeah.
Is that why anyone who gets involved with monsters, with vampires, they're the ones you target your sights on?
The fuck are you talking about? You ever seen me eat somebody at the gym?
No.
You ever seen anybody? Yeah, I don't fucking do that. I fucking do my research. I got my shit put together. I got to figure out who's around, who can go, who's better for Calgary if they go. There's fucking criminals. There's fucking predators out there that are mortal. There's fucking crooked politicians. There's mafiosos. There's a certain amount of crime that helps society function. And there's a certain amount of crime that's a real fucking problem for everybody. And I eat the fucking scumbags. I got my own fucking rules. You want to come hunting vampires? I eat you. You want to come fucking hunting people? I eat you. I'm here for maintaining the peace. I want to maintain continuity. I want to let people flourish and have happy lives. I'm trying to find whatever fucking ethics and morality I can in this shit fest that is immortality. That's my goal. I found a princess that I think knows what the fuck she's doing. She knows how to run a town. She's got some good ideas. She likes me because I can drop the hammer when I need to, and she doesn't ask me to drop it when it don't need to happen. If I can I just need to keep mine safe. That's the goal. I got as much power as I fucking got.
Well, you fucked that up, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And at the same time, I told you guys not to come here.
Yeah, you told us not to come here. You couldn't tell us why. You couldn't tell us the truth about any of this shit.
Not yet.
Not yet. What does that mean?
Do you think Robin could have kept this a fucking secret? Deep down in your heart, you think Jack could have kept quiet if I told him about this? Do you think John wouldn't have gone to the authorities? I got to protect, again, stability. Me and mine, I can do that. You guys are in the world of my fucking family, so I wanted to make sure that you were safe. Hell, you know what I'm hoping? I never have to fucking tell you any of this. You fucking go on and have happy lives, and you get to skip all this shit.
Do you think that I was having a fucking happy life?
I think you were a shitload happier with them than you were with whatever the fuck came before.
Well, it doesn't fucking matter because it's gone now.
I think it still might matter. I think right now you're going to see all this. You're going to hate all this. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate the fucking world. And you're going to learn all the fucking wrong lessons from this. But when you had people that you love, sometimes they go. Nobody goes nice. But the secret of this world is everybody dies. So you got to cash in the good while the good's there. You had one bad night. You had 5 good years. Don't fucking let one delete the other.
Val's just gonna storm off. It's just like, oh, she's so upset.
He'll let you go.
And she's gonna just storm off and I think go back to Damon Corthall and basically just rip his body apart. Just like punching into the ground, punching like, how strong am I? I don't know. Like just trying to get out all of those feelings.
Great, you're very strong. I mean, I'm not even going to have you fucking roll. You're punching a 20-year-old rotting corpse. You succeed in your goal.
Is Damon going to have to roll?
Damon cannot dodge. His dex stats are garbage as a corpse. No, you just pound him into the earth, and you are punching nearly a foot into the ground.
Mm-hmm. I think that is just wild. And after a while, she just sits back on her legs, kneeling down, like looking at...
Can you roll me a wits and awareness?
Sure.
Just a crater.
Here's my vampire sheet.
Exactly.
Goodbye.
All other versions are gone.
Goodbye,
you are now Val Miller.
Vampire sheet.
As we know
shit.
Val, but minus the enhanced skeleton.
Correct. No, this is what I have. So this is her
endoskeleton.
original stats before New Haven. Wits and awareness.
Yep.
What's my hunger? 0?
Wits and awareness. Your hunger is 0. You
'Cause I
drank
ate a
someone
whole
to death.
lady.
Gobbled up a whole valet.
That's true. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. You sit back, and the thing that surprises you is you're not feeling tired.
Oh,
It feels like that should have been work, but you don't feel any more tired now than you did when you were doing it.
I think that is a weird feeling too. Sitting back for a moment, expecting to have to catch your breath,
I was going to say, if you're sitting back for a moment taking this in, you don't have to catch your breath. You don't feel any different than you did before. It's undoubtedly unsettling, but you also don't have any of the releases of physical exertion. You feel just as strong and powerful and everything, but you don't feel tired. You don't feel worn out, and it's really hard to work your emotions out because you don't fucking get tired.
Yeah.
There's no muscle soreness. There's no way to create any of those sensations.
Yeah. And she's just kneeling there, and it's like the feelings of turmoil in her chest don't abate. I just destroyed this corpse into the ground. I still feel just as upset.
Yeah, the looming horror of someone who has spent, since you were 7 or 8, your entire life was physical exertion to avoid emotional stress. You have been working out, lifting weights, training as a fighter, existing so actively to avoid trauma, and now you can't release any of yourself that way.
Yeah.
There's no release valve through physicality. And realizing that could carry forever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get the idea of will. Right now, I imagine on night 1, you get could.
Yeah. Yeah. It just coming back to Rufus Cross.
He's standing outside the mansion now, at the edge of the woods, the path that leads back, waiting for you.
So there's more of them. More of these, what'd you say, Savat?
Yeah.
We can do something about that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Fine.
But I gotta wait for him to come into Calgary. But I'll teach you. We can lay in wait. We can hunt. We can set traps. We can figure out whatever these fucking shitholes are doing. I got access to everything the police got. I can get you phone records from this house. We can find out who's renting it. We can chase them through all those fucking patterns and places and strategies. Everything they do to hide, we can chase them.
Does it feel better?
It's what I do.
All right. Fuck. And Val's just, it's this torn place between, do I still want to follow this man who was lying all of those years? Do I want to try and run away? And how dangerous is each of those things? With no knowledge.
Well, you want to light this up or do I? And he takes out 2 flares. Just road flares. He's got one in each hand, looking at you.
She'll grab it from him.
He'll hand you a road flare.
And her whole body tensed with this, like the physical exertion, and like you said, it doesn't ramp down. It didn't go away. And she'll just take the flare and throw it into the house to set on fire.
Great. Lighting the flare. You pull that cap, it sparks outwards, and you hurl it through a window into the house that goes up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
There's a boom. Not nearly as much broken glass as you would expect from a film, but Rufus left the windows open to allow more air, which is why the fire happens so quickly. Rufus tears the cap off of his, throws it into the woods, and fire begins racing down the path towards where the brawl for it all took place to burn down those other elements. And you watch this pyre to the people that you loved, to your life, to yourself, to your ideas of the world. Is there anything you say? Are there any last words you share with a younger Valerie, with Robin, with John, with Jack?
I think it's just that she's standing there and the emotions, like the tension in her chest finally works its way up into her face and she starts crying. But I think it's vampires, so she starts crying blood just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I think missing everything for the first time. And it hasn't fully sunk in how much she will moving forward or how much loss there is, but just that instant feeling of you never know in your life when things are going to end because things, while you're like in the middle of them, just feel like they're going to continue on that way forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like only once things change enough that you instantly are like, okay, let's go back to I can't go back to that thing. I have left it behind. Like any loss of any of that kind, I think it feels so sudden because everything prior to that feels like it will just continue on forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just that feeling of like, things are different now, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah. And you have that. And Rufus lets you have that. He stands well back from you as the fire goes up, giving you 10 minutes to take it in and just stand there before he approaches and says, we got to go.
Right. Someone will see this.
Yeah, this one's pretty big.
Okay. Where should we go?
Well, we got to go to my car, and then we got to leave.
What about my car? It's here somewhere.
Yeah, that's gone. No,
What?
that's gone. The gym's gone. The people we hit here are going to want to hit back at me. There were undoubtedly places you went, people you talked to who weren't here tonight. I'll be able to root them out. I'll be able to hunt them down, but we don't know who they're going to talk to. Everything that was is basically burning down here. You got out. That's the important thing to me.
I got out. But I didn't really, did I?
As much as anybody does.
Fine, okay.
All right. I can take you back to my place. I got safe houses hidden around. I can teach you the laws. You can work for me. If you won't, you're going to have to do exactly what I tell you. You're new in town. People don't know you. They're not going to be pleased about this. I can get permission to have turned you into a vampire retroactively, but I don't have that permission now.
Permission?
Yeah.
Fuck, what is... Great. More rules. More laws.
Yeah. That's what I can offer you right now. Or you want to go off on your own. You want to figure this out. You want to do this in a world where you ain't got to deal with any of that. I can buy you 5 years. That may sound like eternity to you now. It's a short period of time in our kind of lives.
$5 years.
Yeah. Then I'm going to have to find you or you're going to have to find me.
Fine. Fuck all of this. Fuck you. I'm not your pet. I'm not your meal. I'm not doing this.
I mean, you can tell me to go fuck myself, and you can be absolutely furious. You're still a goddamn vampire. That you're doing. There ain't no way out unless you want to sit and see a sunrise.
Sunrise.
Yeah, you can't do sun ever again. You know, a lot of that movie vampire shit, some of it's garbage. I mean, all the weird garlic shit, looking at rivers, fucking counting rice, none of that shit carries over, but you set foot in sun, it's going to burn you straight to the bone until you're fucking ash. You touch silver, it's going to burn through that fucking skin of yours. You get staked through the heart, you're going to be a fucking statue till somebody takes that piece of wood out. You can figure out your own strength. You'll be able to figure out most of the blood. All that shit's easy, but if you're going off on your own, you want to tell me to go fuck myself, that's fine. Fuck me, I guess. Sure. I mean, I thought you were family, but if you got to figure out that you're not just a fucking meal, then go figure that out. Take any fucking car in the parking lot. Nobody's going to know who the fuck they are. You can ditch it within 24 hours. Pick something else. Nobody's going to be tracking this. I'm going to blow all that shit up anyways.
Man, I almost feel like I need to make a roll for it because it does just feel like this.
This crossroads.
This crossroads.
Yes. And it feels like you need to make a roll, but ultimately this is a decision that is at the core of who Val is, and we do not want dice deciding.
That is true.
Something that is ultimately the pain Val is feeling of this crossroads standing in front of her.
Yeah. And I think it really is the situation of, it's one thing to be like, I'm a monster person or I'm a vampire, and that's something that's new. But I think that Rufus Cross starting to lay out like, oh, there's rules and there's these things and there's laws and I'm like police, and all of this stuff feels so constrictive that it feels like a step back from the 5 years she had with everyone else. It feels like being under her dad's thumb in a way that feels very put upon her. And it's like there's that, I think there's like the childlike human part of Val, even him saying like, I thought we were family, like wanting so badly to be like, I am this little girl who just like wants to do the good job. I just want to like impress you and do the good job. And I think it's just the overwhelming sense of loss and still betrayal of like, it's that almost that little kid thing of her as a little kid being like, okay, yes, Dad, I'll just get in the car and do what you want. And whatever part of her is forcing her to not want to do that, it's just like, it's that tension and anger and buildup and that strength of like, fuck you. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm not going to follow any more fucking rules. And she's standing there with her fists balled and without saying anything else, because it's like she can't look at him because it's like it's not the same person. Like she's not the same person that she was, and he's not the person that she thought he was. And she just goes and storms off to look for a car. And she's going to look for her car because she had a go bag with like tools and things like that in it. If that car's still around.
And as you are moving towards the parking lot, you just hear Rufus yelling behind you, you can come to Calgary anytime in the next 5 years. You better find me. Don't go looking for other fucking vampires in Calgary. And if you are out there, you do not get in touch with the fucking Camarilla. If you do that, they'll report back and they'll fucking kill you. All you hear is you're walking away from Rufus, who stays by the burning building.
Yep.
And you find your car. It's hidden in the lot. You've got it with a number of other vehicles that are off to the side. Grab your go bag, grab your tools. Are you taking your car or are you taking one of the other cars?
Yeah, fuck this guy. She's going to take the car.
Can you roll me a wits and awareness?
Yeah. Oh, wits and awareness. It is just one success. Lots of fives.
Fuck him. You take your car. You've got your car. You've got your stuff. You pull out. You see him behind you. He spots the car, starts yelling. You're not hearing it. You're just gunning it. And you are off into the night, leaving behind the burning pyre that contains your friends, your life, your childhood, theoretically your humanity. Val, where are you going?
Well, does not know yet. Val will just be driving. Val's going to drive until she runs out of gas and will stop at a gas station. And I think it is like just being completely alone again feels like her life on the street when she was just running and hiding from things and being up at night. But it feels so much different because fear was what was driving her. Mm-hmm. And I think now she doesn't have that same level of fear because she has that feeling of like, I am the apex predator. I am the strong thing. I can just walk into the night and not worry about it. In the back of her mind, there's like, okay, well, there's other vampires. There's something in Calgary to be dealt with. Rufus Cross is out there. But it feels similar to her of dealing with her dad, of just like, I'm there. You can't tell me what to do, and I'm going to leave, and I'm not under your thumb, and I will continue to run away from you.
Yeah. So you end up in this small town gas station just off the highway, having driven your car to the point where the tank is so close to empty that only someone who drives as often as Val and who knows the car as well as Val can get to the point without just going that when the car just stops off to the side. So you pull into this gas station, you pump your gas, and then you go in. Mm-hmm. This is a kind of hole in the wall, middle of nowhere. It's not in a town. It's just a gas station on this side road. There's, 4 pumps. They're ancient, rusty. Nothing seems to have been terribly well maintained. There's one blinking light overhead in this little gas station and a small little convenience store where it clearly almost was a large shack or a small barn that was converted into this building as you go in. So there are shelves and pasteboard walls, but they're mostly empty. It's like 20% of the stock appears to be here and 80% of it is not. And there is this elderly gentleman sitting behind the counter of this just awful counter. There's like little lotto and scratch tickets, but more of them have actually been completed and emptied than are actually available for sale. And you're seeing this old man with his straw hat and a scraggly beard. He's missing 2 of his front teeth, spitting chew into a little paper cup he's got with him. And you're going up to pay as you hear the throaty roar of engines outside. Mm-hmm. And instinctively you glance over your shoulder and you see 5 motorcycles pull up. Mm-hmm. And you see these kind of burly, it's a combination of a couple of teenagers and then a couple of people seemingly in their 40s. Mm-hmm. There's clearly like, 2 guys who seem to be the ones actually in charge and then some kind of new toughs, but they're all wearing cuts. You don't recognize this as kind of an established gang. This isn't the Hells Angels. But Tyler, what is the name of this biker gang?
The Demon Riders.
The Demon Riders.
Yeah, sorry.
2 of the younger members start gassing up all of the bikes while the other 3 come in. And you don't know his name yet, but the leader of the Demon Riders is Andrew Winton. Mm-hmm. A burly guy, tall, 6'4", about 280. Some of it's muscle, some of it's fat, but just a big fella coming in. And Andrew, you are here to get the money you need from this owner, come hell or high water. What do you say as the bell jangles and you enter this god-awful gas station?
It's payday, old man. Pony up. We're not leaving without our money.
Sorry. He says to Val, who's standing at the counter. Sorry.
Val probably doesn't look very great right now. It's not like she took a shower. She's probably got dry blood on her hands. It looks like a fucking mess.
Yeah, but it's the shitty overhead lighting and no one's seen it yet.
Through her shirt.
Stab wounds through your shirt.
In the back.
Stab wounds in the back, but you were wearing your leather demon costume. And the thing about black leather is hides blood really well.
Yep. And she
it
did
hides
have makeup
tears
on,
really well.
so she's just like
you just look like a punk rock, like a heavy metal singer in 1985. Just traveling Satanist Val Miller is apparently present in this place.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, sir. He's not really sure what to call you, so he's defaulting sir. Listen, Andrew, we do. I don't do well, Andrew. You just take the gas. Just take the gas for free for all your choppers. And if you want lotto cards, there's shit. Well, I mean, I used all the winners. These are just losers. Don't take. You could take them to sell them if you want some of the cards. Sell these to whoever you want. Give them to your friends.
We had an agreement. You agreed to pay at a rate we mutually agreed to, and I'm here for my fucking money. I think it's perfectly reasonable for me to come here and expect payment for the services we have rendered to you.
Yeah. I mean, you want? I got these chips, grape nuts.
I'm not going to take my payment out of your stock. We're going to carve it out of your ass.
Oh, Andrew, we ain't got to do this. We ain't got to do this.
How many bikers are out front? Val is looking.
There are 2 at the gas kind of pumps, pumping things. There are 3 in here. There's Andrew, and there's kind of two followers with him. There's one wiry older guy who's got a tattoo up his neck onto his face, which is an absolute job killer in 1985. That's like criminal for lifestyle thing. He's much more lean and gaunt. He's got a little bit of that like maybe meth energy to him, just that little manic kind of intensity. There's the whites showing all the way around his eyes as he's looking around. And then there's a young guy who's clearly slick back hair. He's got like a fresh tattoo on one forearm, like not enough tattoos to look career criminal, but aspiring. You're looking at 3 aspiring kind of hardcore dudes and 2 actual lifelong criminals.
Right.
You want to roll me a wits and awareness?
Yeah.
Where does Andrew fall? Aspiring or lifelong?
Andrew's the leader. He's a lifer. Okay. He's done time running a gang, but he's also interesting in that he's gone small town so he can start his own thing.
Okay.
2 successes.
2 successes. These guys are carrying weapons. You're not sure what.
Oh, they're carrying weapons, huh?
They strike you as weapon people, especially in the way they stand and the way Andrew's playing this, because he didn't threaten to beat this guy up. He immediately went to carve. So you're like, okay, knives and or guns. Under the cuts, probably it's small of back, so it's not easy to see, so you can't make out what they're carrying, but you know they're carrying something.
Yeah.
Odds are all 5 of these people are carrying something.
So Val just is standing there watching this for a bit. And then looking at the guy behind the counter. Hey, old man.
Yeah.
You got a family?
I mean, I got a son. I got grandkids. Why? He's just looking between Andrew and heavy metal Hellion.
Just slowly looking over to Andrew of like, I have so much energy that I don't know what to do with. And she'll look over at the leader guy and say, walk away.
Have you already paid for your gas?
Yep.
I think you're going to help this old man meet his cut. Give us everything you got right now. That's how you walk away.
I don't got very much.
Then we'll take that car. Sounds like meth head Jim from beside me.
For a start, yeah, we'll take the car.
That car looks nice. You look like you could go for a long walk.
Yeah, well, what was the second thing? Money or what? You gonna cut this guy?
We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. First the money, then I'll get creative.
Why don't you try it on me instead?
Boy, you do not have a lot going on upstairs, do you?
Not right now.
I'm almost going to feel bad. Get her.
And it's just immediately the young guy over Andrew's shoulder is a little bit wary. Like he's taking out a gun. It's an ancient piece. Like you're looking at something that clearly is World War II era. Like somebody got grandpa's gun that was hidden in a closet somewhere and it's coming out. But the one who's moving is the fucking meth head Jim. He's knife out of me like, yeah, just fucking lunging at you instantly. Can you roll me a dexterity in either athletics or brawl?
I don't want to dodge. I want to know if Rufus Cross was right. and that his he said stuff just doesn't feel.
Wow.
So if this guy wants to stab me,
Damn.
I want to be stabbed. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to learn something today.
Holy shit.
I want to learn something is the scariest thing I've heard from Val in a while. Oh, man. Okay. So he lunges forwards, just saying, "Long road to hell," stabs you with a knife that sinks into your stomach. Mm-hmm. You take 2 points of superficial damage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then the knife is in you, and he looks back and says, "She's messed up. We gotta fucking kill her." And he reaches for the knife. What do you do?
I'm just going to let him stab me again. I'm just going to stand there.
He stabs you.
Val's having a time.
He stabs you again, and you take 3. Oh, man. This time the knife comes out, and with his critical success, he stabs up. It's aiming in under your rib cage, and he cranks it up into your heart and just rams it up and in, and you will take 5 points of superficial damage.
Okay.
And as it shifts into that last point of aggravated damage that I can see now on your sheet, having done all the rest, Val, this is the first time that you feel pain. But not only do you feel pain, the first stab, very distant.
Yeah.
Not in any way what you would expect. Really similar to like getting a tap, and not even like hitting your shin. Just a vague soreness, the idea that this should hurt.
Right.
But it doesn't. There's a psychological surprise. It's this second strike and twist that you feel something inside you, and you realize you're feeling the blood also leaving your heart.
Yeah.
As this happens, the blood leaving, and that sense of loss is there. And that's when you start to feel the monstrous rage inside you filling you up. And for the first time, the beast begins to rise and affect your thoughts. And you realize they can't hurt you easily, but they can kill you. And it's time for you to make a decision about who this new Val Miller is.
This episode of Canada by Night features the voices of Tyler Hewitt and Del Borovic, alongside storyteller Ryan LaPlante. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra. Canada by Night's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. And our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Cheaps by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. Canada by Night is a spin-off of the Dum Dums and Dice series Blood and Syrup. If you want to hear about what happened to Everett before he came to New Haven, look for Blood and Syrup anywhere podcasts can be found. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Sleep well, my kindred. Sleep well in this world of darkness.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Mickey Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.